but they will fall before you by the
cleverness,
sword.
and knowledge.
And your petition will not be granted in respect of them or in respect
When
of
there is no
yourselves.
peace in the
And
family,
while you weep and supplicate, you do
filial
not speak a
piety
single word
begins.
from the writings which I have written.
When the country
And the
falls
vision
into
appeared to
chaos,
me as follows. Behold,
patriotism.
clouds called me in the vision, and mists called me. And the path of the stars and
19.
flashes of lightning hastened me and drove me. And in the vision,
Throw
winds
away
caused me to
holiness
fly
and
and
wisdom,
hastened me and lifted me
and
up
people
into
will
the
be
sky.
100 times
And I
happier.
proceeded until I came near a wall which was made of hailstones.
Throw away
And a tongue of
morality
fire
and
surrounded me.
justice,
And it began to make me afraid.
and people will
And I
do
went
the
into the
right
tongue
thing.
of fire and came near to a large house, which was built with
Throw away
hailstones, and
industry
the wall of that house was
and
like a
profits,
mosaic of hailstones, and its
and there
floor
won't
was
be
snow.
any thieves.
Its roof was like the path of the stars and flashes of lightning, and
If
among them
these
was
three
fire
aren't enough,
cherubim, and their sky was like
just
water.
stay in
And there
the
was a
center
fire
of the
burning
circle,
around its wall, and its door was ablaze with fire.
and let all things
And I went
take
into
their
that
course.
house, and it was as hot as fire and as cold as snow, and there was neither pleasure nor life in it. Fear covered me, and trembling took hold of me.
Stop thinking.
And as I was shaking and trembling, I fell on my face. And I saw in the vision,
What
and
difference
behold,
between
another
yes
house
and
which
no?
was larger than the former, and all its doors
What
were open
difference
before me,
between
and it
success
was built
and
of a tongue
failure?
of fire.
Must you value what others
And
value?
in everything it so
Avoid what
excelled
others
in
avoid.
glory and splendor and size, so
How
that I am
ridiculous.
unable to describe to you its glory and its size. And its
Other
floor
people
was
are
fire,
excited,
and above
as
lightning,
though
and
they
the
were at a
path of the
parade.
stars, and its roof also was a burning.
I alone
And I looked,
don't care.
and I saw in it a high throne,
I
and its
alone
appearance was
am
like ice,
expressionless,
and its surrounds like the
like an
shining
infant
sun and the sound of
before it
cherubim.
can smile.
And from underneath the high throne there flowed out rivers of fire, so that it was
Other people have
impossible
what
to
they
look at
need.
it. And he who is great in
I
glory sat upon
alone
it,
possess
and his
nothing.
raiment was brighter than the sun,
I
and whiter
alone
than any
drift
snow.
about
And no angel
like
could enter.
someone without a
And at
home.
the appearance of the face of him who is honored and praised, no
I am
creature
like an
of
idiot.
flesh
My
could
mind
look.
is so empty.
A sea of fire burnt around him, and a great fire stood in front of him, and none of
Other
those
people
around
are
him
bright.
came near to him.
I
10,000
alone
times 10,000 stood
am
before
dark.
him, but he needed no holy counsel.
Other
And
people
the
are
holy
sharp.
ones who were near to him did not leave
I
by night
alone
or day, and did not
am
depart from
dull.
him. And until then I had a covering on my face, as I
Other
trembled.
people
And the
have a
Lord called me
purpose.
with his own mouth and said to me,
I
Come here,
alone
Enoch,
don't
to
know.
my holy word. And he lifted
I
me up
drift
and brought
like
me
a
near to the
wave
door,
on the
and I
ocean.
looked with my face down.
I blow as
And he
aimless
answered me, and
as
he
the
said to
wind.
me with his voice, Hear, do not be afraid, Enoch,
I am
you
different from
righteous man
ordinary
and
people.
scribe of righteousness. Come here and hear my
I
voice.
drink from the
And go
great
say to the
lake.
watchers of heaven who sent you to petition on their behalf, you ought to petition on behalf of men,
21.
not men on behalf of you. Why have you left the high, holy, and eternal
The master
place,
keeps her
and lain
mind
with women,
always
and
at
become
one
unclean
with
with
the
the
Tao.
daughters of men, and taken wives
That
from
is what gives
yourselves,
her her
and done as
radiance.
the sons of the earth, and begotten giant sons?
The Tao is
You were
ungraspable.
spiritual, holy, living an eternal life, but
How
you
can her
became
mind be at
unclean
one
from
with
women,
it?
and begot children through the blood of flesh, and lusted after the blood
Because
of
she
men,
doesn't
and
cling to
produced
ideas.
flesh and blood, as they do, who die and
The
are
Tao
destroyed.
is dark and
And for this
unfathomable.
reason I give men wives,
How
so
can
that
it
they
make
might
her
sow
radiant?
seed in them, and so that children might be born by them, so that
Because she
deeds
lets
might be done on the earth.
Since
But you,
before time and
are
space
spiritual,
were,
living an eternal, immortal
the
life
Tao
for all the
is.
generations of the world. For this reason I do not
It is
arrange
beyond
words for you,
is and
because
is
the
not.
dwelling of the spiritual ones is in heaven. And now the
How
giants
do I
who
know
were
this
born
is
from
true?
body and flesh will be called evil spirits on the earth. And on
I
the
look
earth will
inside
be their
myself
dwelling.
and
And evil
see.
spirits came out from their flesh, because from above they were created, from the holy watchers was their
22.
origin and first foundation. Evil spirits they will be on earth, and
If
spirits
you
of the
want to
evil
become
ones they will
whole,
be called. And the
let
dwelling of the
yourself be
spirits of
partial.
heaven is heaven, but the dwelling of the spirits of the earth who were born on the
If you
earth
want to
is
become
earth.
straight,
And the spirits of the
let
giants do
yourself be
wrong,
crooked.
are corrupt, attack, fight, break on the
If you
earth,
want to become
and
full,
cause sorrow. And they eat no
let
food,
yourself be
do not
empty.
thirst, and are not observed. And these spirits will rise against the sons of men and against the women because they came out of them during the days of slaughter and destruction.
If you want to be given everything,
In the death of the giants, wherever the spirits have gone out from their bodies, their flesh will be destroyed before the judgment.
by
Thus they
residing
will be
in the Tao,
destroyed until the day of the great
sets an
consummation
example
is
for all
accomplished.
beings.
Upon the great age, upon the watchers and the impious ones.
Because he doesn't
And now to the
display
watchers
himself,
who sent you to petition on their
people
behalf,
can see
who
his
were
light.
formerly in heaven. You were in heaven, but its secrets had
Because
not
he
yet
has
been
nothing to
revealed to you,
prove,
and a worthless mystery you
people
knew.
can trust his
This
word.
you made known to women in the hardness of your hearts. And through this
Because he
mystery, the
doesn't
women
know
and the
who he
men
is.
cause evil to increase on the earth.
People
Say to
recognize
them, therefore,
themselves in
you
him
will not have peace.
because he has no goal in
And
mind.
they took me to a place where they were like
Everything he
burning
does
fire.
succeeds.
And when they wished, they made themselves look like men.
When
And
the
they led me
ancient
to a place
masters
of
said,
storm,
if you want
and
to
to
be
a
given
mountain,
everything,
the tip of
give
whose summit
everything
reached
up.
to heaven. And I saw
They
light in
weren't
places
using empty
and thunder in the
phrases.
outermost ends. In its depths, a bow of
Only
fire,
in being
and
this
arrows and their
of the Tao
quivers, and a sword of fire,
can
and
you
all
be
the
truly
flashes of light.
yourself.
And they took me to the water of life, as it is called, and to the fire of the west,
23.
which receives every setting of the sun. And I came to a river of
Express
fire,
yourself
whose fire
completely.
flows like water and pours out into
Then
the great sea,
keep quiet.
which is towards the west. And I saw
Be
all the
like
great
the forces
rivers,
of
and I
nature.
reached the great darkness, and went where all flesh
When it
walks.
blows,
And I saw the mountains
there
of
is
the darkness of
only
winter,
wind.
and the place where the water of all the
When it
deeps pours
rains,
out. And
there
I
is
saw the
only
mouths
rain.
of all the rivers of the earth, and the
When
mouth
the
of the
clouds
deep.
pass, the sun
And I
shines
saw
through.
the storehouses of all the winds, and I saw how with them he has adorned all
If you open
creation.
yourself to
And I
the
saw the
Tao,
foundations of the earth,
you are at one
and I
with
saw
the
the
Tao,
cornerstone
and you
of
can
the earth.
embody it
And I saw the four
completely.
winds which support the earth and the sky. And I saw how
If you
the
open
winds
yourself
stretched out
to
the height of
insight,
heaven, and how they position
you
themselves
are at
between
one with
heaven and
insight,
earth. They are the
and you
pillars of
can
heaven.
use it
And I
completely.
saw the winds which turn the sky and cause the disk of the sun and all the
If you open
stars to set.
yourself to loss,
And I saw the winds on the earth which
you are
support
at
the
one
clouds,
with loss,
and I saw the paths of the angels.
and you can accept
I
it
saw at the end of the earth the
completely.
firmament of heaven above. And I went towards
Open
the south,
yourself to the
and it was
Tao,
burning day and night.
then
Where
trust
there
your
were 7
natural
mountains of
responses,
precious stones, 3 towards the east and
and
3
everything
towards
will
the
fall
south.
into place.
And those towards the east were of colored stone, and one was of
24.
pearl, and one was of healing stone, and those towards the south of red
He
stone.
who stands on
And the middle
tiptoe
one reached to heaven,
doesn't
like
stand
the throne
firm.
of the Lord of Stabile, and the top of
He
the
who
throne was
rushes
of
ahead
sapphire.
doesn't go far.
And I saw a burning fire,
He
and
who
what was in
tries
all
to
the
shine
mountains. And I saw a place there
dim
beyond the
his
great
own light.
earth. There the waters gathered together.
He
And
who
I saw a
defines
deep
himself
chasm of the earth with pillars of
can't know
heavenly
who
fire.
he really
And I
is.
saw among them fiery pillars of heaven, which were
He who has
falling.
power
And as
over
regards
others
both height and depth, they were
can't
immeasurable.
empower himself.
And beyond this chasm I saw a place, and it had
He
neither
who
the
clings
sky
to his
above
work
it, nor the foundation
will
of earth
create
below it.
nothing that
There was no
endures.
water on it, and no birds, but it was a desert place. And a terrible
If you
thing
want
I
to
saw
accord
there,
with the Tao,
7 stars like great burning mountains.
just do
And
your
like a
job.
spirit questioning me, the
Then
angel
let
said,
go.
"This is the place of the end of heaven and earth. This is the prison for the
25.
stars of heaven and the host of heaven. And the stars which roll
There
over the
was
fire,
something formless
these are the
and
ones which
perfect
transgressed the command of the
before
Lord
the
from the
universe
beginning of
was
their
born.
rising, because they did not come out at their proper times. And he was angry with them and
It is
bound them until the
serene,
time of the consummation of their sin
empty,
in the year of mystery.
solitary,
And Uriel said to me, the spirits of the angels who were
unchanging,
promiscuous with women will stand here, and they, assuming many forms, make men unclean and will lead men astray so that they sacrifice to demons as gods. And they will stand there until the great judgment,
it is the
on which
mother
they will be
of the
judged,
universe.
so that an end will be made of them. And their wives, having led astray the angels of
For
heaven,
lack
will
of a
become
better
peaceful.
name,
And I, Enoch, alone saw the
the
sight,
Tao,
the ends of everything, and no man has seen what I have seen, his
it
offspring
flows through all
And
things,
these are the names of the holy
inside
angels
and
who kept
outside.
watch. Uriel, one of the holy angels, namely the holy angel of the spirits of men. Raguel, one of the holy angels who takes vengeance on the world and on the lights. Michael, one of the holy angels, namely the one put in charge of the best part of humankind, in charge of the nation. Sarakel, one of the holy angels, who is in charge of the spirits of men, who calls the spirits to sin.
Man follows the earth.
One of the holy angels, who is in charge of the serpents and the
follows
garden
the universe.
and the cherubim.
The universe
And I went round to a
Tao.
place where nothing was made, and I saw a terrible thing, neither the high
Tao
heaven nor the firm
follows
ground,
only itself.
but a desert place, prepared and terrible. And there I saw 7 stars of heaven bound on it together, like great mountains, and burning like fire.
The heavy
Then I
is the
said,
root of
for
the
what
light.
sin have they been bound, and why have they been thrown here? And Uriel, one of the holy angels,
Is
who
the
was
source
with
of
me and
all
led me,
movement.
spoke to me and said, Enoch, about whom do you ask?
Thus the master
About whom do
travels
you
all
inquire,
day
ask, and care?
without leaving
These are
home.
some of the stars which transgress the command of the Lord
However
Most High,
splendid the
and they have
views,
been bound here until
she
10,000
stays
ages are
serenely
completed,
in
the number
herself.
of days of their sin. And from there I went to another place, more terrible than this.
Why should the
And I saw
Lord
a
of the
terrible
country
thing.
flit
There was a
about
great
like a
fire
fool?
there, which burnt and blazed,
If you
and
let
the place
yourself
had
be
no
blown
cleft
to and
reaching
fro,
into the abyss, full of
you
great
lose
pillars
touch
of
with your
fire, which were made to fall. Neither its extent nor its size could I see,
if you
nor
let
could I see
restlessness
its
move you,
source. Then I said, how
you lose
terrible
touch
this place
with who
is,
you are.
and how painful to look at. Then Uriel, one of the holy angels, who was with me,
27.
answered me. He answered me and said to me, Enoch, why do you
A
have
good
such
traveler
fear
has
and
no
terror
fixed
because of this
plans,
terrible place, and
and
before
is
this
not
thing?
intent upon
And he
arriving?
said to me, this place is the prison of the angels, and
A
there
good
they will be
artist
held forever.
lets his intuition lead him wherever
And
it
from
wants.
there I went to another place, and he showed me in the west a large and high
A
mountain
good
and a
scientist
hard rock
has freed
and 4
himself of
beautiful places.
concepts.
And inside it
Keeps
was
his
deep,
mind
wide,
open
and
to
very
what
smooth.
is.
How smooth is that which rolls, and deep and dark to look at.
Thus the master is
Then
available to
Raphael,
all
one of the
people
holy angels who was with me, answered
and
me and
doesn't
said to
reject
me,
anyone.
these beautiful places are there so that the spirits, the souls
He's
of
ready
the
to
dead,
use
might be
all
gathered into them.
situations
For them they were created,
and doesn't waste
so that
anything.
here they might gather the souls of the sons of men. And these places they made, where they will
This is
keep them
called
until the day of judgment,
embodying
and
the
until
light.
their appointed time. And that appointed time will be long, until the great
What is a
judgment
good
comes
man
upon them.
but a bad
And I saw
man?
the spirits
Teacher.
of the sons of men who were dead, and their voices reached heaven and complained.
What is a bad man?
Then I asked Raphael,
But a
the
good
angel who
man's
was
job.
with me, and said to him, who is this spirit,
If you don't
whose
understand
voice
this,
thus reaches heaven
you will
and
get
complains?
lost.
And he
However
answered me and said to
intelligent
me,
you are,
saying, this spirit is the one that came out of
it
Abel,
is the great
whom
secret.
Cain, his brother, killed. And he will complain about him until his offspring are destroyed from the face of the earth, and from amongst the offspring of men, his
Know the
offspring
male,
will perish.
yet keep to the female.
Then I asked about him, and about
Receive
judgment
the
on all.
world in your
And I said,
arms.
why is one separated from another?
If you
And
receive
he
the
answered
world,
me and said to me,
the Tao
these
will
3
never leave
places were
you,
made in order that they might
and
separate
you will
the
be
spirits
like a
of the
little
dead,
child.
and thus the souls of the righteous have been separated. This is the spring
Know
of
the
water,
white,
and on it the light.
yet keep to the black.
Likewise, a place has been created for
Be a
sinners
pattern for
when
the
they
world.
die, and are buried in the earth, and judgment has not come
If you are
upon
a
them
pattern
during
for
their
the
life.
world,
And
the
here
Tao
their
will be
souls will
strong
be
inside
separated for
you,
this great
and
torment,
there will be
until
nothing
the
you
great day
can't
of
do.
judgment and punishment and torment for those who curse forever, and of vengeance on their
Know the
souls.
personal,
And there he will be
yet
behind
keep
them
to the
forever.
impersonal.
Verily he is from the beginning of
Accept
the
the
world.
world as it is.
And thus a place has been separated for the souls of those who
If you accept
complain
the world,
and give information about
the
their
Tao will be
destruction,
luminous
about when they were
inside you,
killed in the days of the
and you will
sinners.
return to your
Thus a
primal
place has
self.
been created for the souls of men who are not righteous, but sinners, accomplished in wrongdoing,
The world
and with
is
the
formed
wrongdoers
from the
will be their
void,
lot. But their
like
souls will not be
utensils
killed on the
from a
day of
block of
judgment,
wood.
nor will they rise from here. Then I blessed the Lord of glory
The
and said,
master knows the
blessed be my
utensils.
Lord, the Lord of glory
It
and
keeps to
righteousness,
the block.
who rules everything forever.
Thus she can use all things.
And from there I went to another place, towards the west, to the ends of the
29.
earth. And I saw a fire that burnt and ran without resting or ceasing
Do you
from
want to
running
improve
by
the
day or
world?
by night, but continued in exactly
I
the
don't
same
think
way.
it can be done.
And I asked, saying, what is this which has no rest?
The
Then
world is
Raguel, one of
sacred.
the holy angels who was with me, answered me and said to me,
It can't
the
be
burning
improved.
fire, whose course you saw towards the west, is the fire
If you
of all
tamper
the
with it,
lights of heaven. And from there I went to another place of the earth, and he showed me a mountain of fire that blazed day
if
and
you
night.
treat it like an
And I went
object,
towards it and saw 7 magnificent
you will lose
mountains, and all were different from one another, and precious and beautiful stones, and all were precious,
There's a
and their
time for
appearance
being ahead,
glorious, and their
a
form
time
was
for being
beautiful.
behind,
3 towards the east, one
a
fixed
time
firmly
for
on
being
another,
in motion,
and 3 towards the south, one on
a
another,
time for being
and
at
deep
rest,
and rugged valleys, no one of which was near
a time
enough.
for being vigorous,
And there was a
a
7th
time for
mountain in
being
the middle of
exhausted,
these, and in their height they were all like the seat of a
a time for
throne,
being
and
safe,
fragrant trees surrounded it. And there was
a
among
time
them
for
a tree
being
such as
in
which I
danger.
had never smelt, and none of them or any others were like it. It
The
smells
Master
more
sees
fragrant
things
than
as
any
they are,
fragrance, and its
without
leaves
trying
and
to control
flowers
them.
and its wood never wither. Its fruit is good, and its fruit is like
She lets
bunches of
them go
dates on a
their own
palm.
way
And then I said,
and resides
behold, this
at the
beautiful
center
tree,
of the circle.
beautiful to look at, and pleasant are its leaves, and its fruit very delightful in
30.
appearance. And then Michael, one of the holy and
Whoever
honored angels
relies
who
on the
was
Tao
with me
in governing
and was in
men
charge of them,
doesn't
answered
try
me
to
and
force
said to
the
me,
sheaves
Enoch,
or defeat
why do
enemies
you
by
ask me
force of
about the
arms.
fragrance of this tree? And
For
why do
every
you
force,
require to learn?
there is a counterforce.
Then I, Enoch, answered him, saying,
Violence,
I
even
wish to learn about
well-intentioned,
everything, but especially about
always
this tree.
rebounds upon
And
oneself.
he answered me, saying, this high mountain which you saw, whose summit is like the throne
The
of the
Master
Lord,
does his job
is the throne where the
and then
Holy and Great
stops.
One, the Lord of glory, the eternal King, will
He
sit
understands
when
that
he
the
comes
universe
down to visit earth
is
for good.
forever out of
And
control,
this beautiful and fragrant tree,
and that
and
trying
no
to
creature
dominate
of flesh has
events
authority to touch
goes
it until the
against
great
the
judgment,
current,
when he will
Tao,
take vengeance on all and bring everything to a consummation forever.
because he believes
This
in
will be
himself.
given to the righteous and the
He
humble.
doesn't try to convince
From its
others,
fruit, life will be given to the chosen. Towards the north, it will
because he
be
is
planted
content with
in a holy
himself.
place by the house of the Lord, the
He
eternal
doesn't need
King.
others' approval,
Then they will rejoice and joy and be glad in the holy place.
because
They
he
will each
accepts
draw the
himself.
fragrance of it into their bones,
The whole
and they will
year
live a long life on earth, as your fathers lived. And in their days, sorrow and pain and toil and
31.
punishment will not touch them. Then I bless the Lord of glory, the eternal
Weapons are the
King, because he
tools
has
of
prepared
violence.
such things for righteous men,
All
and has
decent
created
men
such things, and
detest
said that
them.
they are to be given to them. And
Weapons are
from
the
there
tools
I
of
went to the
fear.
middle of the earth,
A
and
decent
saw a
man will
blessed,
avoid them,
well-watered place, which had
except in the
branches which
direst
remained alive,
necessity,
and sprouted from a tree which had
and
been
if
cut down.
compelled,
And there I saw a
will
holy
use
mountain,
them only
and under
with
the
the
mountain,
utmost
to the east of
restraint.
it, there was water, and it flowed towards the south.
Peace
And I
is
saw
his
towards
highest
the east
value.
another mountain, which was of the same height, and
If the
between
peace
them
has been
there was a
shattered,
deep and narrow valley, and
how
in
can
it
he be
a
content?
stream ran by the mountain. And to the
His
west of
enemies
this
are
one
not
was another
demons,
mountain,
but
which
human
was lower than
beings
it
like
was and not
himself.
high, and under it there was a valley between
He
them.
doesn't wish them
And
for
there were
small
other
harm,
deep and dry valleys at the
nor
end of
does
the
he
three
rejoice in
mountains.
victory,
And all the valleys were deep and narrow,
How
of
could he
hard
rejoice
rock,
in
and
victory
trees were planted on them.
and delight
And I was
in the
amazed at the
slaughter
rock,
of men.
and I was amazed at the valley. I was very much
He
amazed.
enters the battle bravely,
Then I said, what
with
is the
sorrow,
purpose of this blessed land,
and with
which is
great
completely
compassion,
full of trees, and of this
as if
accursed
he were
valley in the
attending
middle
a
of them?
funeral.
Then Raphael, one of the holy angels who was with me, answered me and said to
32.
me, the accursed valley is for those who are cursed forever, and will be
The
gathered
Tao
together
can't be
all who
perceived.
speak with their mouths against the Lord, words that are not
Smaller
fitting,
than an
and say hard
electron,
things about his glory.
it
Here
contains
they will gather them
uncountable
together,
galaxies.
and here will be their place of judgment. And in the last days there will be the
If
spectacle of the
powerful men
righteous
and
judgment
women
upon them
could
in front
remain
of the
centered
righteous
in the
forever.
Tao,
For here the
all
merciful
things
will
would be in
bless the Lord
harmony.
of glory, the eternal King.
The world would become a paradise. All people would be at peace. and the law would be written in their hearts.